Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us. My name is Jose Aranda. Library online presentations for the fall semester, and particularly today's presentation will be focused on the library database called CQ Researcher. This will be recorded, and any follow-up information or questions we can entertain at the end. And we will begin. So this database is accessible from Doña Ana Community College Library's homepage, and that's what you should be seeing right now. Up in the top is the URL for this website, along with the picture that I took last week of the homepage. This is the library's homepage. Lots of information, links, and tabs on this page, as well as updated information gets circulated frequently. But the tab that you should be concerned with for accessing CQ Researcher is the database tab. So I have this blue arrow there pointing to it. If you click on that, you will get that search box there that says select the database, and you will get the beginnings of a menu, or you can click on the link below that and see all the databases. And when you do that, you want to go down because they are listed in alphabetical order. You want to select CQ Researcher found under the letter C. Under the letter C. And when you do so, you should get this page. This is the authentication page. This is where you need to enter your NMSU banner credentials. It's the same username and password to access almost everything else that you use within NMSU, right? NMSU email, banner, Canvas. It is the same username and password. When you do that successfully, you will be taken to CQ Researcher's homepage. Okay. Now, like many databases, there are many features and functions to go over to get into the resource. I will only cover a few of the essentials that I think in this 30-minute presentation, but just know that there are a lot more features and you can go into and dive deeper. If you are interested in those, learning more about those, if you have questions regarding those, especially if I don't cover them in the presentation, send me an email, get in contact with the library, and we can follow up and spend more time together doing that with you. But I just wanted to give you a picture of the database's homepage. Now, CQ Researcher, in a nutshell, is a database that provides full reports. Okay? They do these journalistic investigative reports on social issues. So it's a great source for students and instructors to assign on assignments that deal with picking a topic, picking a social issue as a topic. So there's lots of information when you do find a topic that you're interested in. And it's so in that case, it could be a little different than the other databases we're normally used to seeing. These reports are a lot more extensively written. But let me read you, not so much, this is their about tab that explains who they are, but in essence, let me read you how they describe themselves as they are in terms of a resource. CQ Researcher is an original, comprehensive reporting and analysis on issues in the news. They were founded in 1923 as editorial research reports. CQ Researcher is noted for its award-winning, in-depth, unbiased coverage of health, social trends, criminal justice, international affairs, education, the environment, technology, and the economy. Reports are published online 44 times a year by CQ Press. It's an imprint of Sage Publications. Each single themed report is researched and written by seasoned journalists that are footnoted and professionally fact-checked. The consistent, reader-friendly organization provides researchers with an introductory overview, which poses and addresses relevant questions, a background and chronology of the topic, an assessment of the current situation, tables and maps, a pro and con debate by representatives of opposing positions section, and a bibliography. So they're just very well-written, professionally elaborate reports on social issues. So I wrote here on the side, this resource, again, if you spend time and really search for all their features and intricacies, can be used as a great model for instruction. And of course, for students doing research. It is one of our favorite resources at the DACC to recommend students. So how do you search it? Well, you have a couple of options, right? You can type in the search box like I did, the terms that you're interested in. And later on in the presentation, in a couple more further down in the slides, I will show you the other ways you can search for reports or for results. But this will probably be how most students start, right? They type in the search box the terms that they're needing information for. So underneath that, you should see a list of results. So in this case, there are 345 results on abortion. I think abortion is their number one topic in terms of requests by its users. So there's a variety of different results listed there. Of course, any of those, some of those, they all provide details as to what kind of results they are. The first and the third one you see are noted as short reports. And then on the right hand, you should see the same results page, but scroll down a little bit is where I have a blue arrow indicating the Roe v. Wade. So that would be the report that gives the overall best coverage of the topic of legalized abortion, apparently in this country. So the short reports would be exactly that, short versions of the reports that are highlighting specific information, whereas the report of Roe v. Wade would have the entire report, and you'll see in a second what those entail. So I've clicked on that. This is Roe v. Wade at 25. So a lot of arrows here that I want to highlight some of the features once you enter a report. Okay. So on the left-hand side, the blue arrow pointing down are the sections that are clickable that will advance you to that section of the report. All the reports are broken down into these categories, right? You have the full report from beginning to end, but you also have these sections in between that you can then skip over if you wish by clicking on them. And so all the reports have this this outline, if you will. Okay, so that's what you see on the left-hand side. Towards the middle, Roe v. Wade at 25, that's a title of the report. Underneath that, just a little bit to the left, you have the author. To the right, you have your buttons that will do some sort of action, if you will. You can view it in PDF format. Cite Now would give you the citation, whatever style you would select then. Of course, you can print it, you can email it, you can save it. So all those features are extremely important for our users to know about what to do once you get into the report. One thing I'd like to highlight is this issue tracker. That would be the last blue arrow kind of towards the right. And basically what that does is just gives you a synopsis of what major events, right, of this issue has occurred. And so it gives you that chronology there for you, and also links to separate resources, separate articles or reports that would then be supplemental in that nature. So this is what you should expect when you enter a full report within CQ Researcher. All these options, all this functionality going on, right? So there's a section called Pro and Con. I think I read that in the introduction. And this is really neat because it's a section of the reports that then break down the issue and give you two opposing views, right? And so the student or the user could then read these. They are written by people. They tell you what their credentials are. In this case, they're authors. And you can read the pro and the con and get a sense of further information on the topic. So this is a great, I think, feature of these reports, right? So it gives you the reporting that the report will provide when you read it, but it also gives you this kind of editorial section, right, about pro and con, and that can be very useful for users and students. Everything else kind of looks the same, right? All the other buttons and features that I talked about, they stay with you. So I'm not going to go through all the features that are listed there, just a few. The next one that I like is the chronology. You know, it gives you, so you have an issue tracker, but this one's more in depth, more detailed, and so it's kind of like a timeline of what major things have happened in this topic, and gives you a great summary of that, and that too can be useful for users brainstorming ideas, perhaps, right? And not only that, but also to put it in context historically, right? What happened during what era and things of that nature. So I like this section of reports, chronology. They also have a bibliography, right? All great resources should cite their references. And so CQ Researcher is no exception. So they give you all their resources. Again, a great tool for users if they're needing more references for, let's say they already have a topic and they're already started their research, but they just need more references. They could look at this section of the report and get those ideas. And it also models the scholarly behavior we want our students to learn about, and that is being ethical and citing their references. So a useful section of the report here, bibliography. So I just took a bigger picture of the issues tracker there. Again, gives you like a timeline, a short timeline about what's happened in the last couple decades. And even if you don't read into the report or dive into it, you can look at this. And again, I think it's great for browsing. It's great for brainstorming, for getting and generating ideas. So I think that's, and they're clickable, they're linkable, all the things that they're listed there. You can just click on it and it'll give you what they're referencing. So, okay, so I've been told that you cannot hear. Yes, there is supposed to be sound, and I was afraid this may happen. So if you're interested, this YouTube video is of course on YouTube, but it's also in CQ Researcher, and then of course you have the URL up there. And if you don't have a pencil and paper, you can email me and I can send you that link. So no problem. Anyways, let's move on. They have other, so that was the researcher tour video. If you see the first link here under user guides and tutorial videos, that was a tour, but they have others. And so I provided here a picture of what other things they are, are available. So they have sample searches, sample assignments, sample lesson plans, roadmaps, creating a personal profile. Those are all additional videos for you to use. I'm sorry, guides. The videos would be the ones down below that. So, you know, I think as an instructor, this is an awesome resource because of those sample lesson plans and assignments. They kind of give you practical ideas that you can implement using CQ research content. The creating the personal profile is in a sense creating an account with CQ Researcher, right? You're providing an email and a password, and by doing so, you're able to take advantage of some of the features they provide, like saving searches. But a neat one would be alerts. So if you're interested in a specific topic and they publish or write something new on that topic, if you subscribe, you will get an alert telling you it's now available. So really becoming one of the first to know about new reports if you do that. So neat stuff, huh? So I just wanted to mention that when you do visit CQ Researcher, you may see something similar to this, and what it is, or parts of it as you scroll and peruse through the database. So they have a featured report that is one report, and this changes, I don't know when, but they change this regularly, that they're highlighting. It's a feature report they are highlighting. Underneath it, recent reports, they're going to list all the reports that say they published this year, for example, something like that. But on the right-hand side, hot topics, those are the reports that have been updated recently and are most popular. So just an FYI of what these different features mean when you visit CQ Researcher. So I mentioned at the beginning, right, of when you're in CQ Researcher, you would type search terms to then look for results. Another way of looking for reports would be to browse. And in this case, it would be browsing by topics. So these are the topics that they have reports on. And so these are broad categories. When you click on them, they would then branch out into more further and narrow topics, right? Subtopics and things like that. But this is another way you can search CQ Researchers by topic. Another way you can search, let's say you were just open for ideas, you can browse by published date, the publication dates, right? So you can browse all the reports that were published within a year. That would be the first column that I have there for you. The middle one, you can browse the issue trackers for all the related reports. That was a slide, a couple slides earlier that I had that picture about what issue tracker was. It's another way of searching for these reports that are hot, that are been updated lately or are very popular. And then you have the ability on the right-hand side to search for the pro and cons sections of all these topics. So just some other ways of using CQ Researcher and finding content. If you go to the Librarian tab within CQ Researcher, you can then access their complete index in PDF format, and that will give you everything that they've ever published since 1991. So that is another way to search and perhaps cross-reference their reports if you're interested in so doing. That is the index. And so that's the presentation on CQ Researcher. I could have spent more time diving into some of these features, but I'd rather save that in personal consultation if you so wish to do so. Remember, CQ Researcher is a library database, so you need to be authenticated to use it, but it is great on finding information, and in this case, the reports on social issues. But they do have shorter versions of these reports. I failed to mention, these reports are usually around 30 to 40 pages. So the short reports would be much shorter than that, 5 to 10, but the regular normal reports within CQ Research are pretty long. You saw all those sections, right, at the beginning of the presentation, all those features, the table of contents. So these reports are fairly lengthy. but they're excellently written and provide a good model for our students because they're really professionally produced. And many of the sections can be used independently, meaning you don't have to read the entire report. And they're frequently updated. So I told you about that alert feature. It's a great resource to keep abreast of what's going on in social issues here in the United States. I thank you for your time. This presentation was recorded. If you wish to converse with me further, if you need any help, have any questions, in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks on the 18th at 10 a.m., we will have our final online presentation, and that will be on another great resource the library has called Opposing Viewpoints, actually very similar to CQ. Please join us. Thank you very much. Have a good